My name is Olav Aleksander Bu. I am the coach of Kristian and Gustav. I'm a co-founder of Santara Tech, and that's me. So it's really nice to be back in Sierra Nevada. There is a lot of high performance athletes, elite athletes. It's really motivating. Also, of course, this centered location here is obviously really built for elite athletes. It's a really nice location, so it feels good to be back here. We've been here for so many years that we feel a little bit we are like a part of the family here.
Piscina. It means the living hell, and yeah, that's what we'll face now. Tough session in the pool. Been in a couple of pools around the world. Started out as a swimmer, and yeah, it's never getting easier.
Forgot them on the charger.
I met Kristian and Gustav and started primarily to work with Kristian in 2015, leading into Rio. Then mostly shadowing and doing measurements, observations to see a little bit what we could improve on after Rio, leading into Tokyo.
Ready to jump in the pool, but because this pool is slightly cold, I will wear a wetsuit today.
Okay, now quick warm up on land done, and yeah, hope it's going to be a good session. You know, swimming I think is the worst place to have a bad session, have a bad day. So hopefully it feels good during the warm up, and hopefully it's a good main set. We need to reach up to the first pack, you know. 1.5 years until Paris. It's no more second pack swim for us. Have to improve, you know.
One of the things, of course, that is important is that triathlon swimming is 1,500 meters, 750 meter or 1,500 meter swimming, so and open water. So obviously you go hard and you go for a fairly long distance. One of the indicators we of course have of fatigue is obviously, for example, a change in stroke rate, the ability to keep up the velocity consistently over the laps for the whole set, and then of course consistently over time as well. Keeping track of all this and seeing when an athlete remobilizes and so on really needs an attentive eye. For the swimming here at altitude is, of course, one, it's individually driven, but also, of course, since we're back to short course, to make the necessary adjustment, adaptations, and learn what we have to work on further on to be ready for Paris. How we are using data here is, of course, we are collecting, of course, the velocities, change in velocities over a swim session, of course, change in stroke rates, and then basically we are also looking at the balance between the different sessions combined with metabolic markers to see how we individualize the training for each of the athletes. And of course, when you collect this much data, a lot of the data has to be collected autonomously. And as a coach, if you want to do one metabolic testing, but at the same time also keeping track of the stroke rate, you want to keep track of their velocities, not only on one lap or one set, but basically you want to have each lap. You want to see what is changing all this. Then basically the only way to go about this is we need a system that's capable of collecting this kind of data. And there, of course, for me, forms technology is really only the technology source is very much in the same way as like in running and biking, where basically when you're biking you have your computer in front of you, you can get feedback and you can refocus. In the same way when you're running and you can get feedback instantly by just giving a big glimpse to your watch. This in swimming has been impossible before because you only get it after a lap. And then it's also harder to connect your feelings to what is really changing. and this is where form is unique, and obviously the reason why we work with form as well. Yeah. So one of the things that actually is quite interesting with most triathletes at the elite level is that they actually have a metabolic power that is higher than many elite swimmers. But elite swimmers, despite this, can actually almost swim in circles around them. But then the question becomes, why do swimmers still swim like so much faster than the triathletes? And the answer lies in the hydrodynamics. One of the places the main focus have to be on a triathlete is really driving the hydrodynamic efficiency, your technique and efficiency in the water, to allow you to basically go faster, not by increasing the power, but actually getting faster for the same power. And this is of course where the form goggles, when you are able to measure, for example, your velocity consistently lap by lap, short intervals, long intervals, stroke rate, how that changes with different velocity, but also not only that, but also how it changes with longer sets, longer intervals as well. This gives us a very good insight into where the limiter also sits with that athlete. Most pools actually don't even have these kind of windows that allows us actually to look at the swimmers from below, because most of the work, and especially most of the propulsive work, is actually done underwater, not over water. And typically when we are in a phase where we are looking to, let's say, build, we are looking basically to, let's say, what I normally like to call as lifting the whole curve. We are looking to basically prove what they can do for short duration, medium duration and longer duration. And this again is impossible if to capture all this from all the sessions. Means basically you have then to count basically all the strokes they are doing, you have to check all the laps they are doing, and basically see that actually these changes manifest themselves. Today, with the foam goggles, this is something that actually happens automatically, because everything of the data is collected here, and more importantly, it's actually also output on the glasses, into the glasses of the guys, so they can actually see whether they're on target or if something is changing, and that brings the awareness to, let's say, the technique, whatever they do, and again, that allows them also to make adjustments.
So now I'm just gonna get up and synchronize the session to the app and see it more into the details there. So of course, as I'm swimming, I'm getting like an overview of how I'm swimming compared to how I expect, but now I can easier compare to the other session I did the other day when I only did hundreds, and see how the session is compared to each other. This is how easy it is to synchronize. So here you have the main set, and you can see like how clear the session is, and it's even like understanding your session that I did 8 400s as a main set, and then I can go in and look at of course you can take out the splits, so I don't have to always remember my splits, but I can just look at it afterwards. The average DPS, also distance per stroke at each intervals, and like today I can see that I went out all right. First, second, third one, decent DPS, but then it sort of went down again the wrong way. So that's also something I can keep in mind for the next time I'm doing longer intervals, that halfway through the session I need to stay on top of my concentration.
Today I took the lactate after the fourth one and 8 400 meters, and as you can see the time was pretty similar, but I actually dropped in lactate, so it means that I was most likely under the targeted intensity today. So I had 2.1 on the first one and 1.9 after the 8th one, and normally at this intensity I would have a bit lower lactate, but after I've been a bit sick, it's the body is a bit strange, so it's good to have the numbers here and the lactate so I know exactly what I'm working from.
One of the reasons why we in Santara are working together with Form is obviously because biofeedback is extremely important. We don't have feedback during swimming until now. And this is why, for me, Form is a revolution. Because suddenly now we can give an instruction to an athlete, and the athlete is actually able to see this and have this target in the goggles, and they can actually experiment and feel and actually see what is happening in real time in the goggles. And of course, swimming is an extremely technical sport where it's hard to evaluate yourself. And when you get this kind of instant biofeedback, this is also something that will lift a lot of swimmers onto a completely new level. And for us to get that extra margins that wouldn't be possible to get systematically, but more by accident normally.